It would be great if we could get a Starbucks and a convenience store. I think those two things would be phenomenal for business.
A restaurant bails out and leaves a hole at the front door of the Banks. The question tonight, can it be filled in time for the All-Star game? Good evening, everyone. Johnny Rockets and Crosley's Cafe closed for good this week, ending a 3.5-year run in the heart of the Banks.
It was the second business to open on Freedom Way and is directly across from Great American, and the Reds Hall of Fame for that matter. Local 12's Joe Webb is live at the Banks to tell us that won't be an ugly, empty spot when the All-Star game comes to town, though, right, Joe?
That's right, Rob. The Banks owners of the Banks development tell us it's going to be very, very difficult to get a new tenant signed up in this space renovated in time for the Major League Baseball All-Star game in July, but it won't look like it does today for the All-Star game. If a tenant has signed and they're renovating, the facade will be incorporated into a Major League Baseball theme, and if there is no tenant and the space is empty, that space might be used for All-Star game activities.
The sign's gone. The windows are covered with for lease signs. It's a far cry from October 2011 when Johnny Rockets opened at the Banks with a bang.
We're thrilled to be here and to be affiliated with this, have a sports bar between two stadiums. It's a unique location.
They were dancing that day, but it just didn't work out. While the Holy Grail and Tin Roof succeeded to the point of expanding the Grail into Santo Graal and Tin Roof into 2 bits, Johnny Rockets joined WG Kitchen and Bar and Mahogany's as washouts at the Banks. So what works and why?
I think mass appeal is what you want. I mean, there's a lot of bodies that walk through this area every year. So, just mass appeal, something good, well managed, great food.
NIC Riverbanks 1 Retail is hustling to find a new tenant that's the right fit. They say the place will not look like a real estate ad come July, with or without a new tenant. So what should replace the burger joint? Kevin Gray and Craig Hutchinson had some suggestions on their way to lunch.
Anything, sports related. We like watching our TVs and stuff while we eat.
I'd like to see a BW3s or maybe a barley corn, something like that. Be nice.
But the manager of the new Santo Graal says it may be time to think outside the Banks box. She'd like to see a Starbucks in a convenience store.
On the evenings, people are walking by asking, is there a little local store, where you can grab, chewing gum or whatever it is that they, are looking for, and there really isn't anything close like that.
Now, whatever moves into the old Johnny Rockets location, Rob, it'll be moving into a much different environment than Johnny Rockets did in October of 2011. Next year, in 2016, there will be 500 new residents in Phase 2 of the Banks and 1,800 new employees from General Electric just 2 blocks away. So you got to figure these businesses see that stuff coming. There's going to be somebody really anxious to get this location, not just next to that, but, a sand wedge from the ballpark.
It's interesting because it's hard to believe something would fail because when we go to the ballpark, there's tens of thousands of people down there. But there are nights when there's nothing happening at the Banks. You've seen those nights as well, haven't you?
Absolutely. And there's no question about it. The bar and restaurant business is a tough business. Everybody thinks it's just you just open up the doors and pour some drinks and cook some food. It's a tough business. And I think Johnny Rockets proved that, and the other places have proved it down here because, there's a lot of people down here when there's a lot of people, but when there isn't, like you said, it can be pretty quiet.
Yeah. Joe, thanks very much. The owners of the Banks development would not talk to us on camera today, but they have released a written statement. You can read it at local12.com.